Good afternoon to all, respected chairperson and dear, colleagues or speakers. And first of all, good afternoon to all. First of all, I thank VSI management for inviting me to briefly discuss about this area. That is one of the major area sugarcane to be addressed. That is the disease problems. So I will be covering mostly on this global disease scenario and also recent approaches to manage the disease. And coming to the disease impact, why this diseases are causing impact in sugarcane, as in many other vegetatively propagated crops. Sugarcane also, it is almost we get all kinds of pathogens, maybe fungal, bacterial and viruses. So this vegetative propagation and also on the long duration plus going for multiple ratoons, they are the favorable factors for a disease build-up and also on the monoculture. And in overall we can sum up the impact as varietal degeneration mostly caused by fungal pathogens due to the emergence of new races of the pathogens and also on the varietal degeneration caused by systemic accumulation of non-fungal pathogens. Coming to the disease scenario of major fungal diseases, we see that at least red rot, smut and wilt and rust are the major fungal diseases, and smut is distributed throughout the world, and whereas red rot is confined to South Asia, similarly wilt also, whereas rust is mostly confined to Americas and also in other countries where the situation is conducive, including Australia. Coming to smut, it is one of the major fungal disease causing impact, especially in ratoon crops across the globe. And whereas in the rust also, this is a recent phenomena that is in the globally if you see, and after 2020 we have seen emergence of this rust, particularly this has spread, particularly brown rust first was reported and later orange rust. So now overall what we found now, this after a new occurrence of the diseases, so now the focused breeding programs were initiated to develop rust resistant breeding program, and then so in that they have been successful in breeding rust both for brown rust and orange rust resistance. By that the sustainable clones in the field has been reduced. So this is how, but overall the further we can say, but still the inoculum pressure is very high. So there is also the judicial use of fungicides also recommended. So that's how particularly in the USA that the fungicides are being sprayed using that through aerial route. So that is a need-based application of the fungicides. It is again dictated by the monoculture of a particular variety. And coming to the bacterial diseases, we have many bacterial diseases in sugarcane, and especially ratoon stunting disease it occurs throughout the world. And similarly leaf scald disease, red stripe and gumming diseases. Among the ratoons impact is very well known, and where you can see this on this impact caused by ratoon stunting disease in the center. So there we don't see much of the external symptoms, but due to the disease the cane growth is stunted. And actually detailed studies are being taken up at different countries from Australia to Brazil, Argentina and other countries. And they are following a simple dot blot assays to detect the bacterial pathogens. So that seed programs are all being strengthened with for ratoon stunting disease as well as for leaf scald diseases. And that's how now it has been reported from Brazil that like RSD, leaf scald is also occurring almost throughout the country. And coming to the yellow leaf disease, this is the one major fungal viral disease has been reported throughout the world and causing havoc across the countries. And especially Indian scenario also we are seeing a severe occurrence of the disease. And we can see this, we have also recently reviewed, and then this is occurring across the country also in the country. And actually the new dimension why has come, why the disease is becoming so severe. And in Florida also it has been reported, and the same virus is being infecting sorghum and also the wild sorghum also, like sorghum almum. So like that, so this inoculum is persisting in this environment in the collateral host and then vector, that Melanophis sakari, and that's how this disease is recurring in these endemic areas. And our country's conditions also, India, we have studied in detail, and the possible sources of vector, that is collateral host. In that we found mostly the sorghum. Sorghum is grown for a forage purpose or grain purpose across the country, and where we found not only the viruses of sugarcane yellow leaf virus and also viruses causing mosaic was also we found. Again this Melanophis sakari, that aphid is the root cause for the transmission. And coming to mosaic, this is also another universally present virus disease, and it is causing almost caused by 3 different viruses, either alone or together. And in that, not only that it is causing the SCM, sugarcane mosaic virus, causing damage in sugarcane, it is also reported to cause very severe disease of maize, lethal necrosis in association with maize chlorotic mottle virus. So coming to the country specific reports also, in China we have seen almost recording all kinds of diseases, probably except red rot and wilt. And coming to this particularly this disease and downy mildew, this is the one disease confined to few countries like Philippines and New Guinea. And otherwise this disease, though it is a very serious disease, fortunately it has not been reported elsewhere. So there is a need for a stringent quarantine. And also on the chlorotic streak also, this virus disease was reported long back, more than 100 years back, but only recently the cause of the disease was been identified as a Phytocercomonas, so that lower fungi, and it is confined to Australia. Coming to scenario in the India, so where I will speak rest of my lecture on this scenario in India, and where this red rot is been for a major issue for the several decades, and presently also we have disease across the country, and especially Indo-Gangetic plains we have a severe occurrence of the disease after the epidemic breakdown of 0238. And similarly other fungal diseases like smut, wilt and twister top, that is pokobong, is also referred to. We are seeing disease. All these diseases are occurring in almost all the places with varying its severity, and especially the pokobong, that is our twister top. This is the one that's emerged as a new diseases or a new major disease from a minor disease status, and we have characterized this pathogen, associate pathogen, and also its interrelation with wilt causing pathogen. So finally we found the same Fusarium sakari is causing wilt and pokobong together in a crop. Coming to other non-fungal diseases, especially yellow leaf and grass shoot occurring throughout the country. And coming to the specific work which we have done on red rot after the epidemic breakdown or the varietal breakdown of 0238, we have done a detailed work on the characterizing the new pathotype, and then we have characterized the new pathotype as CF13, that is Coltotrichum falcatum 13. So that is found as a highly virulent, and it has evolved after this introduction of the variety, and also the variety, another phenomena we used to say vertifolia effect. So that means we have gone the variety almost uniform cultivation of this particular variety. This monoculture led to evolution of new pathotype that is highly virulent, and it is able to knock down many of the host varieties. So now we shifted our focus to screen the varieties that are resistant to CF13, that is a new virulent pathotype. Coming to the next part of the my talk on disease management, and where that main focus is on developing red rot resistant varieties, and in that we have been successful across the zones where we are releasing different commercial varieties, and every year we notify at least maybe 5 to 6 or even up to 10 varieties per annum. So that's how we are able to manage. In addition, basic work also in All India Coordinated Research Project. Our idea is to identify red rot resistant varieties across the locations So here it is will be the mostly genetic stocks have been screened, and then we have identified disease resistance in interspecific and intergeneric clones, and then we have identified the clones are parental likely to be parental clones with broad-based resistance across the zone. And coming to wilt in the red rot, and overall though we have the disease was recorded more than 100 years ago, we are still unable to manage the disease. And of course recently I have reviewed what was the causes and also impact, and in that what we found almost the disease, when disease was reported in India for the first time, and we found the same disease was occurring almost throughout the world, from USA to Argentina to West Indies. But what happened, after 1930s, the disease severity has come down across the country except India or South Asian countries. So that but still we are fighting with this disease or pathogen. And one major cause I found that we are unable to eliminate the sustainable varieties at a given point of time. So you have seen, at least taken efforts to eliminate this inoculum from the field. So there are very less chances for the breakdown effect. So that's how we are losing the many elite varieties like 0238 and many other varieties. And coming to wilt, actually now this disease was mostly confined to Gangetic, Indo-Gangetic plains and East Coast region. But now we are also seeing the disease in the tropical region, and a severe occurrence of the disease has been found. So here also the focus is on developing resistant varieties, and there we also go for resistance based on the occurrence of disease in a parental clones, in a natural conditions or in the artificial conditions. So they are being evolved, that is we are assessing for wilt resistance also in the All India Coordinated Research Project. And also we evaluated completely on the all the parental clones were screened for wilt, and then we found recently we reported on this what is the source of resistance or the category of resistance in our parental clones. But unfortunately we found many of the popular parental clones are susceptible to wilt, and this also we are also seeing that breeding blocks. This is the scenario recently. You can see if you go to any breeding trials, especially advanced varietal trials, you will see this scenario. And almost with this one way we are eliminating the materials which are susceptible to wilt also. That you can see that is some of the clones are tolerant, and wilt susceptible clones are totally eliminated by this natural infection also. Of course, I skipped this grassy shoot or yellow white leaf disease, but just I want to give one emphasis on this disease management, and hot water treatment is being followed for several decades. I will just have a couple of slides and how we are we really being successful in managing the diseases through hot water treatment, and several kinds of hot water treatment units have been developed, and systematically single buds are being used and treated to manage white leaf disease, or full canes also, entire canes also being used. Here you have to see this amount involvement of the man and machineries to treat. And then that's what this idea is, that whether really are we being benefited with the heat treatment, and it has work was started long back, decades back, with hot water, hot air, moist hot air, and also aerated steam, and people have reviewed in different occasions, and most of the cases they couldn't control the diseases. Either there is impact on the germination, or there will be a recurrence of the disease in ratoons. And India also we have two popular the units like aerated steam therapy and also moist air therapy being recommended. But if you see, even in Brazil, that recent work also suggests, and it is only partially inactivate the pathogen, not eradicate or eliminate the pathogen. So even in this PCR based assays also very clearly found, if the titer is high, 2 hours hot water treatment is comparatively better, and whereas 30 minutes at 52 degrees centigrade is not completely effective. So this is how that we found that that hot water treatment or any other heat treatment Systems are reported against many pathogens, including fungal pathogens, but they only inactivate, hence the disease occur in the ratoons, but viruses are totally not inactivated. So that means it is not effective against viral pathogens, but other negative impacts is on germination, and also we need to handle the seed canes with different levels and places. Huge cost in the heat treatment process by way of power, labor and equipment, and they are partial or no control of the target pathogen in the field. So that's why this I am just talking the next part, that in the non-fungal diseases, all the caused by the varietal degeneration, that is due to systemic accumulation of fungal pathogens. It is not a new phenomena. It has been reported earlier also as yield decline, and it was deliberated during different ISCT meetings. But now what happened that after that there was no discussion on that. But we have taken up studies, detailed studies been conducted for last 25 years at IISR by SBI. So there we have...
Conclude within 2 minutes.
Yeah, I will be concluding, sir. So this is the impact now coming to the really what is happening, what is the degeneration, how the industry has to address this thing. This is the scenario of degeneration caused by YLD, and it is also in subtropical region also we see this is how the phenotypic expression is there when the virus load is severe or RSD is severe, and then that's how it is the crop stand is totally affected. And even in the varietal resistant trials also you will see that poor establishment due to varietal degeneration, and this has been demonstrated clearly in this particularly CO8032, where we eliminated the virus through meristem culture and totally virus free clones. They exhibit very clear stand, very clear stand of the higher. That's how we restored the yield of this particular variety. You can see what you see is all rejuvenated seed with a very high yield, and this has been achieved in different locations, where you can see that in the field conditions you can see where there is healthy seed programs are there or where it is not. So it is how that it has been very clearly demonstrated. It is taken to the field but not completely implemented. So and we have to adopt this practice, and this is also the mechanized set treatment also we are suggesting for the nurseries to improve the vigor of the settlings. So once the settlings vigor is there, then this is how we see the enhanced productivity, and this is the approach being successful on varietal rejuvenation, and how we have successfully in managing the disease under field conditions. And this is how the commercial units in a factory, so they taken up this, being taken up across the country, especially in the tropical region. So we rejuvenated this particular variety, and also apart from that we also taken up host resistance also to identify YLD resistant clones. And overall this I would like to conclude that still fungal diseases are occurring across the countries, and host resistance is the major way of managing the disease. And also we have to go for the alternate, at least new approaches also. But the varietal degeneration is the one which is occurring across the country, and at least we have realized its impact, but this is being adopted selectively, maybe in parts of Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu and few pockets in Andhra, and it has to spread across the country. And also that this large scale seed chain we have to promote to harness the benefit of the varietal potential of all the elite varieties in the country. Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you once again.